What is going on, YouTube? Y'all squad. This is your boy Yocrates. This is your review for. I probably should be on the first page as I'm doing the introduction. This is your review for SWV Xscape, Queens of R&B Season 1, Episode 3. So what I'm going to do with this review is I'm going to do everything in order until we get to Tamika and Gloria. That I'm going to place at the end because I got some things to say. So I want to get through all the other stuff. Not to say that it's insignificant, but in action. I'm about to say that, and I mean, I feel like the Coco and Jalen thing, I probably should save too, but whatever, we'll make it work. So we start off with Taj and Latasha. I didn't call the name right this time, whatever. At a music museum, so all these different, artists and whatnot. Taj lets us know. Well, they're going down music memory lane, different artists and whatnot. Taj lets us know that, when DC, Destiny's Child, was like in their infancy and whatnot, that they had found what hotel they're in, in the hotel lobby, a whole lot of stuff. They showed them the ropes, this, that, and there. And I mean, it's good to see. It's good stuff. And then Taj then talks to Tocha to figure out how things are being handled. I'm gonna just say her name right. I'm gonna be nice today because she ain't really do nothing. And Tasha brings up, her being body shamed. And here's the thing: to a certain degree, do I feel like that, that she feels that way? Yeah, but I really do feel that's deflection. I feel like that's not the issue, but I can use this to make the issue bigger. Y'all know I often talk about the smoke and the fire. I won't go that route, but it's almost just like, if you're in a relationship and you done got into it with your spouse or whatever, da 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 da, and then you don't deal with that. Hold on to it. You come home and see, oh, he done left his drawers on the floor, and now you sitting here snapping off about drawers on the floor, or you snapping about the toilet seat being up or something like that, where you may legit be upset about that, but that's not the cause for all of what you're giving me. It's something else. And that kind of seems like what this is with her, where you might be upset about the, if you had a butt to kiss comment, but that obviously isn't what is causing it. And then she says the body shaming, and then she pretty much says, Tamika disrespecting my mother, the possessive. And Taj just like, it has to, because she even said to her, like, I feel like there's more to the story. Like, I feel like there's more. And Latasha's like, no, that's it. But then Latasha tells her the reason that she's in Tennessee, and that's because she was down there because she's possibly going to get a record deal. And Taj whole thing is, okay, but don't forget about what brought you here. Like, don't forget, in essence, don't forget about the group, right? And Latasha just like, yeah, but things change, and and then talks about stepping out and finding her freedom. So you get Coco and her friends, Tamaya and Troy. Is it Troy or was it Trey? My handwriting, y'all, forgive me. But these are her real friends, not no industry friends. The ones that's gonna keep it a buck with you, that ain't using you because of what you got. Everybody needs them. We find out that in 2017, Coco was diagnosed with bipolar depression. And what led her to seek help is she was actually contemplating actually doing bodily harm. Well, she was trying. She wanted, not trying. She wanted to send somebody to glory. And I guess for her, it's just like, I don't think like this. This is not me. And then she went and chose to get some help. But due to medication and everything, she has like mellowed out. But I mean, with anything like that, and her being diagnosed with bipolar depression, I mean, she has her good days and bad days. I understand. Now, Tamaya jokes about them being old, and Coco gonna say, I'm 52, but the kitty cat is 21. I mean, like, I don't even know all that, Coco. Like, you somebody, mama. But my thing is this: so since you can so freely talk about your kitty cat on TV, are we singing downtown? And can we? I just want to know. So, let's see. So, no, I said I was gonna come back to the Tamika thing. So let me come back to that. That was a whole lot. So we get Taj and Candy. Candy wants to know about the Africa trip. You know, Taj talks about it, good stuff. And again, it really would have been a waste if they would have just flown to Africa to do the show and then fly back. So it was good they got a chance to see around. So that was good. So Taj spills the tea about finding out about this record deal. Now, again, look, I love me some Taj. I think no. I can't say that because then that's pitting the women against each other. It doesn't matter, but Taj, I love you, baby, but you just look you a smidgen messy. But somebody has to, go ahead and help move this thing along. And honestly, who better than Taj? Because everybody likes her, and I highly doubt anybody's going to sit here and come at her sideways. So, you know, but yeah, she tells her about Latasha's record deal. And Candy says history is repeating itself, like she did the same exact thing. And Todd says, she would love for Latasha to be a part of, the tour that they're trying to do. But I'm a paraphrase what she said, one monkey don't stop no show. So if she don't want to do it, guess what? It is what it is. And here's the reality. Like, was Xscape able to, do what they did without Candy? Yes, they were. But it's one of those things where Candy does have a distinct sound. It's just like T-Boz. T-Boz has a distinct sound. And even with groups, not even girl groups, but just groups in general, even if you plug one person out, even if they wasn't, a lead singer, but they help with the harmonies and whatnot, you can hear the difference, right? And look, let's be clear. If we really want to go there, Tamika can sing Latasha's parts. It just means that she gonna have to work a little, double time, especially when you get to Traces of My Lipstick and all the albums, all the songs on that album. But they can do it anyway. We get Lily and Kyrie, her son. She lets us know that she is not her kids' friends. That they try to call her Lily and all this other stuff, and she like, no, my name is Mom. Now look, I kind of get it, but I mean, I do think that is weird. Like my mom, whenever she is talking about her parents, like I said, they with the Lord now, but she like when she talks about her father, she said like we all called him by his last name. So she like, yeah, so da da da. And I should be looking like, you could just say dad. Like I know your dad is, or she'll say her mom's first name, and I really be like, I know. Like that is so weird to me. I'm just like, I don't. Now what I will say is when I'm being a little passive aggressive, I'll be like Mrs. whatever my mom's last name is, because y'all don't even know that. I'll do that. But no, I'm not coming right out and saying her first name, or even a reduced, like, or an abbreviated version of her first. I'm not doing that. I just can't do it. Now I do have cousins that call their moms, but and when I say cousins, I'm talking about because Gen X cousins and their baby boomer parent, who is my aunt. I couldn't do it, but anyway, went off on the tangent. It has nothing to do with nothing. She asked him like what is he doing, like where is his rap career going, and he's just like, I'm grinding. And Lily says that she has the resources and he wants her to use his resources to push his career. She's okay with making it easier for him, but she's not finna do all the work. You're going to have to open the door. Understandable, which is cool, and I'm more than likely going to echo this when I get to Jalen and Coco. But because you a vet in this thing, like you've already been through it, you know what the roadmap is. Have you not? Again, I have seen them on Growing Up Hip Hop, but like I said, I get very disinterested because it goes from being about the kids to the adults, and I can't do it. But I wonder, like, have you sat down and bing, ba, bing, ba, bing, ba, bing, ba, bing? And I get it, the whole get it out the mud stuff, but sometimes, not always. Like, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but Beyonce has her daughter, I believe, singing on one song, and I think Ashley has a songwriting credit, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe a producer credit, something like that. literally where it's just, yeah, I'm putting you on and there's going to be some residual. And again, more than likely, Blue is going to follow in the steps of her parents. More than likely. And if she doesn't want to, cool. But just saying. So, I don't know. I mean, hey, Lily, you got the kid, I ain't got it, so you do what you do. She tells us that she is working on an X book. I don't know if I can truly say the three-letter word, so y'all know what X is. Um, so she's doing that. She tells her son that she kept a lot from them, which most parents do, and she tells us about how when SWV broke up, how she had to sleep in her car and whatnot. I believe she didn't say this, but I believe at one point I think she was on public assistance. She mentioned having to go like I believe get an entry level job and some other stuff. Like, she had to put the pieces back together, and this whole thing is a process. And she said to him, don't skip the process. It's gonna hurt like hell, but when you come out on the other side, it's gonna be so beautiful. So that was some good stuff. I liked that. uh Now we get Latasha in the studio. She sound good. She sound good. In the words of Scotty by Nature TV, Run Tisha was doing a whole lot of runs, but hey, that's her thing. I will say they were cool, and I'm thinking because she's in the studio and she doesn't have to sit here and do all that extra, but she was doing ad libs, so well, no, she's actually done some. It don't matter, but she doing her thing and whatnot, and then Rockhead bring his tail in. I'll say the other word. And just dancing, being goofy and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, you're really being a distraction. And it's clear that he was in the studio, so you just wanted to make it interest. The show is not about you. It's really not. And then he mimics or pretends to be Ike Turner with Tina in the booth. And I'm just looking like, one, that's not cute. And that's one. Two, you're playing. I don't think you're playing, sir. I really don't. But that's okay. Um and she is unsure if she wants to do this whole meeting with the girls. And he says, so Rockhead tells her, I mean, if you don't want to, you don't want to. But if you decide to, grab the mic and remind them who you are. I'm all for gassing up, your significant other. I really am. But that Negro is toxic. I said it. I did. So now we get Coco and Jalen. Now this upset me on several different levels. We'll get there. So he doesn't want to go back to school. So if I remember correctly, he did 1 year and fantastic grades from what Coco said. And he tells her, dentistry. No, I'm sorry. Coco tells him dentistry is what the hell? What did I write there? I guess dentistry like is for him. Like that's what he's called to do. And he's like, how do you know? She was like, because I'm your mother and I pay for it. That's how I know. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is starting to gain some levels. I'm like, okay, you throw in essence kind of throwing in his face what you do for him. All right, okay. And then says, right. So I already said you need to go because I'm paying. And it goes from that to her saying, I didn't go and your brother didn't go. So pretty much, this is the dream that I couldn't achieve. So I want you to achieve the dream that I couldn't achieve, right? And I will also say, I am not the biggest fan of everyone going to college. I'm not. And especially if you're going for a degree that does not monetarily match the output. I'm really just being honest. Be mad at me if you want to. But for him, if he were to actually do dentistry, then yes, like he could easily be able to, pay whatever debt he accrues. Because I don't know if she's paying for undergrad. I don't know. Um, and Jalen says that he will not sacrifice his happiness to make everybody else happy. When I tell y'all I was in my living room going up for that statement, yes, speak your truth. And she even said, really? Like, Coco wasn't expecting that. And I appreciate the fact that Jalen has, his voice and the vocabulary and the bandwidth to be able to just vocalize it. but you can see that it's difficult for him to do it. I really feel like maybe not necessarily Coco, but I think Coco's mom, Mama T, I think she has not physically but beaten him down. Right? And the reason that I say that is because Coco says, well, you still need to tell your grandma. My thing is this. Why? Why he has to tell her? This is something that I don't get. And it seems like the hierarchy, and that's a lot of African American families, very toxic. Cause she shouldn't be running nothing down here. That's your child. You paying for anyway. I'm gonna let it alone. And grandma, and so he's just like, I don't want to do this. And she tells him, you're not old enough to know what your thing is. Look, y'all, I told y'all I've always had a mouth on me. I really have. Okay, I really have. And it took me having to go away to the military, away from what I knew, to really come into myself and to really know my boundaries and my standards and my this and my that, what my triggers are and all that other stuff. Because I'm going to be honest, because I believe Jalen is 21. If that was me, is he 21? It don't matter. He in the dope. If that was me, yeah, I probably would have had some words like, what? What? Anyway, anyway. Jalen begins to cry and says that he doesn't feel that he should have to do something he doesn't want to do. And it's clear they're not listening to him. But I also felt like those tears were, I'm trying, because I feel like he wanted to say more, but it's the whole, okay, these two are my elders. This is my mom and my mother's mom. So I can't say something the way that I want to. And I think that was, frustration coming out of his eyes. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. And he suggests taking a year off. Like, how about I just take a year off and see what happens? And grandma says, okay, that sounds like a good plan. And Coco feels away because I guess she didn't get that support from her mother growing up. And again, it's why is it that your mom has to make a decision for your child? And then even tells him that she's mad. Man, look, I'm gonna just let it go. I'm gonna save all my energy for Gloria. I'm gonna leave Coco and Mama T alone. I'm gonna just let them have it. But I did feel like they were ganging up on him. I just didn't like the optics of that. And here's the other thing, going back to what I was saying about Kyrie and Lily. You've been in this business long enough. You have the resources, like you really haven't walked him through any of this. Or once he said, okay, I want to do music. Okay, all right, so what is your sound? What songs have you written? What are you trying to do? How are you going to market yourself? Are you trying to go independent? Do you want a label? If you want a label, are you aware of these type of deals? And boop bop the bam. Have you did some demos? Just throw them on SoundCloud. This and that. And also could have been like, how about you make sure that your core classes are okay, and then you go and do this. So at least your core classes are done. And if it doesn't work out, you can always come back. I'm just saying. But again, I don't know. We get to the SWV rehearsal. SWV's manager says they have to figure out, this tour / concert situation, because for the next year coming up, there's already possible tours and tour dates that are on the table. So we find out that Candy told Tiny the T, and why wouldn't she? They are friends. We know. All of Xscape is present. Happy to see it. Taj proposes that they just start off with one big show. Let's do this one show. Let's see how it goes. And if everything goes, swimmingly, then we can actually think about taking this on tour. But let's just start with one show. Candy wants to know who gonna be the headliner. I'm like, goodness gracious, Candy. Lord. So the manager says they're going to co-headline. Candy says that Xscape wants top billing on the tour. And they're looking at her like, what? And then she's like, but that's any tour that we're on. And Coco isn't here for it. And there's a lot of expository stuff said in the confessionals. because you have Taj that was just like, yeah, when y'all were first out, y'all really wasn't headlining like that. But now that y'all came back, yes, now y'all are headlining because of the fact that the visibility that you have. Facts. And Tiny even echoes the same thing in her confessional, where it's just like you have now they didn't say the respective shows, and look, I don't remember what SWV's reality show was on. I really don't. I'm thinking WeTV, but I could be wrong. But I know that Candy and Tip's show was on VH1, and then you have Candy on Bravo. Two big net, and I believe they're under the same umbrella in terms of uh yeah, I think they're under the same umbrella. Doesn't really matter. But two big, platforms. And both shows did reasonably well. And some of them did not know them necessarily by their music. So now you have that fandom that, yes, they're bringing that. So, and look, the reality is sometimes it's who's on the tour that people come to see. It really is. Sometimes it's just the bigger names. Like, that's the whole thing here. Tosh suggests that, hey, how about we just this one show, we co-headline, we go from there. Candy assures them that this is no disrespect to them. Like, that is not what this is. Coco is pretty much saying she rests to go. Lily said, I gotta go to the bathroom. Coco like, I'm gonna join you in the bathroom, and then soon thereafter Taj follows. I'm like, oh gosh. And Coco said, I sold 30 million records. I ain't doing it. Hey, look, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I mean, look, this is one of those where in this aspect, when it comes to the business, I really don't know. But I'm also one of those where as long as we all getting the same pay, y'all can headline. I don't give a damn. Okay, bye. As long as our sets are the same in terms of I get an hour, we get an hour and a half, y'all get an hour and a half, we get the same pay, baby, do you? All right, so let's get to the thing that got my pressure all the way up. All right. Okay, so you have Tamika at her house making dinner for her mother. Her mother stops by. There's awkward energy between them. Now, Tamika ain't spoke to her mom in a hot minute. A lot of what happened is I understand from both of my parents. It's hilarious. But anyway, Gloria as pretty much like, what's the issue? And you immediately see that Tamika has started to reduce herself, and you can slowly see her going backwards, and not physically, but like going back to being a child, and how she's talking to her mom. And she says, you show favoritism. Mom was like, in what way? She's like, you allow her to express herself, and before she could finish, this is when Gloria began to turn up. And I didn't like it. Because this is one of those where, let's be very clear, you ain't finna come into my domicile where I'm supposed to have peace and bring some chaos in here. I didn't agree like that. I really feel they should have been in a neutral place, maybe like at a park or something where they could have got all that out. But because here's the thing, like if you come in here with that rah rah, trust and believe I'm gonna meet you. No, I'm not. Because I'm about to lie and say I'm gonna meet you with that energy. No, I'm not. Because I'm disrespectfully going to surpass it. You come me on 20, I'm coming at you on 1,000,000, and you in my no, you not in here. No, no, I don't give a. I don't care who you are. I gotta catch myself. Come on, now. Come on, y'all. Keep it together. And then she said, I allow her to express herself because she does not come at me in a disrespectful way. And she gets in, she's elevated now. And here we go. She says, and you wrong when you disrespected me. And I want to say this, at no point in this entire conversation did Gloria tell her what it was that she did that was disrespectful? Because there's perceived disrespect, and then there's blatant disrespect. Like, you might do something and I could perceive it disrespectfully, but everyone else around is just like, doesn't mean that I'm not disrespected, but it's just kind of like, okay, I might be putting 20 on 10. It's another thing which is like, oh no, you really being disrespectful. But she never expressed any of that to her. And then she said, I am the fifth member of Xscape. When I put the microphone in your hand as a girl, I'm the fifth member. When your dad walked out on you, didn't care if we sank or swim, I'm the fifth member. How about that? But see, but her mom is a narcissist. Because especially like when there's any success that you have, a narcissist will do they damnedest to let you to make your success about them. So anything good about you is because of them. Anything bad about you, oh no, that's all on you. And you can clearly see Tamika is defeated. I felt so bad for her. Like when I tell you like she shrunk and became a child again, it was so obvious. And then it's the whole her mom is talking to her like Tamika's just looking right here. It's almost like Tamika has transported herself back to being a child. Like I was so hurt for her again. Now, what the mom did was disrespect, but I guarantee you, a lot of Gen Xers and especially the baby boomers, I can't. We and I mean, if there is any solid generations still, living, they gonna feel the way. I know we don't have any more GIs. That ain't the point. I bet you many of them won't see a problem with what Gloria did. They're not gonna see a problem with that at all, and that was purely disrespect. Purely. So Tamika tells her, she's like, her mother. No, I'm sorry. She tells us that she feels that her mother's pain comes from her divorce and the fact that she hasn't properly healed yet. And whenever my mom looks at me, she sees my father. I wholeheartedly believe it. I do. So Gloria says, I don't deserve disrespect on no level. We just gonna have to agree to disagree, y'all. Says, I am the silent member that tells you, that keeps you and Tasha together. Ain't nothing silent about you, Gloria. And then says, I tell you when you're right and when you're wrong. And to me, it's like, no, you only tell me when I'm wrong. And then she's like, your sister is crushed. To me, it's like, no, she's not. And then the first thing that Gloria goes to is you talk about her husband. Even though I understand they are married and I get that, why are you bringing up the husband? Why aren't you bringing up what I have done directly the hell to her? Okay, measure relationship is somebody's identity in a man, I guess. And Tamika is like, I only bring him up when he inserts himself into my business. And the fact that he didn't took food and money off my family's table, yes, I'm going to talk about it. So then her mom says, if you can sleep at night, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The first part that she said is when I only talk about him because he puts himself in my business. And her mother says, well, if you could sleep at night, Tamika got a little activated there. Like, if I can sleep at night. And then she was like, this man took money all from my family. And then her mom goes again with the, ain't nobody took your money. And wait, hold on, wait. And Tamika says, as hard as you go for them, I wish you would go hard for me. I brought you here because you said I disrespected you. I'm sorry. But if you can't respect me as an adult, I'm gonna have to step back. Now that was powerful, but I wonder if y'all caught what happened. Boundary. There it is. If you can't respect me, I'm gonna have to take a step back, which means I'm going to detach myself. Or translation, I'm going to limit the amount of access that you have to me since you can't respect me. Because here's something I've learned. I really have learned it. Because you have a lot of people that say certain people can't change. That's a lie. Everybody can change. But the reality is, most people won't change unless it benefits them. That is the reality. Because I've dealt with that with one of my parents. Dealt with it where it's okay. I'm constantly saying the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. And no matter how many times I say it, it's not penetrating. No, oh, obviously you don't care. Bet. So what I'm gonna do is rather than sit here and just blow up, I'm going to shift the manner in which that I deal with you. So, you know, with my mom, like she's free. Well, she's free with everybody's business, but I'm not everybody. And I've told her, please stop telling my business because it gets back to me. And it's little things that get back to me. But I've said if the little things are getting back to me, what big stuff is out there that I don't know about? Because anything can be used as a dagger. Don't do me like that. She didn't want to listen. I stopped telling her my business. I keep our conversations very surface, and it aggravates her. But I'm limited the amount of access that you have to me since you can't stop telling my business. I can't get mad at you because I'm telling you my business. So I'm going to sit here, boom. I'm gonna put that in place. I'm gonna limit how much access that you have to me. Oh, she feels it. Even with my father, I ain't talked to him for a good 2 years and some change because he literally smooth disrespected me on the phone. All right, cool, bad. You ain't finna. Now again, I wasn't finna call him back and give it back to him, but I'm like, I got something for you. I ain't talked to him the whole time I was in Korea. Didn't say nothing to him. And of course, it was the whole let me sit here and call everybody and tell them the sob story. Let me tell them what Yah is doing to me, but I'm not going to tell you what I did to him to cause the response. I'm just telling you the response. And when he saw that that wouldn't work, he couldn't do nothing. And when I finally decided to, all right, let me go ahead, and he was so remorseful. So remorseful. And when he thought that he had me back, the old, and we're back to how things used to be, he been telling everybody for I don't know how long. I just want my son to call me, and why won't my son call me, and da 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 da. Now I end up calling him. We have never had a conversation on the phone longer than 5 minutes. This was no different because you've been telling everybody for as long as you want to talk to me, and now you got me on the phone, and now that you think, oh, I got my son back in the capacity in which that I like, yeah, I gotta go because I got this and this and this and this. Now that was the last time we talked. Then he passed on in 2016. Whatever. Like, and it's one of those where it broke me. I went through the motions, grieving, crying, all other stuff, but it's one of those where, okay, well, hey, because like I said, two-way street with the communication, but he had to feel it. And it wasn't me. It was just like, I'm not finna do this with you. So, boom. Not finna talk to you for a whole. And trust me, I had a lot of people mad at me for that. But when you do that, that gets people to act. Now, me, I didn't voice that to him. I just did it. In this case, Tamika is voicing that to her immediately. You saw there was a switch up with Glory because it's like, I can't lose this access. So now she went from that to, um, wait, where am I in my nose? She was like, step back. What does that mean? And Tamika says, I've been beat up my whole life and I can't. And then Tamika puts her hand over her face because she starts to cry. And again, these ain't fake tears. So then now you have Gloria where she gets a little choked up, but we don't see no tears or nothing. And then she says to Tamika, look at me. She moves her chair closer and says, I believe she even grabbed her chin and moved her face for her to look at her. I ain't like that because that's the invading personal space. But whatever. She says, I love you. Always have, always will. Again, and look, I say this all the time. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean you care about them, you respect them, or you like them. It doesn't. But anyway, and says, if you feel I've been less than a mom to you and more to Latasha, I'm sorry. And the thing with that is, but there's no, I'm going to work on this. So there's no announcement of I'm changing behavior. I'm just giving you words. This was in my, I see it now. This is actually when she said so she said, look at me the first time. This time she made her look at her, which I didn't like, and says, I'm here for you. I love you more than anything. And then they hug it out. So that's the end of the review. That's all I got. Again, I still don't see it for Gloria. But now I'm finna go ahead. I'm finna put this up. I have to go watch everybody else's review because I try to do my review before I watch anybody else's, so it's authentic and just is what it is. So It looks like I don't have to deal with Gloria next week, so the review might actually be short, under 30 minutes. We shall see. But with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you all for the next video. I'm gonna get caught up, y'all. I am. Life is life, and all right, peace.